October is the month of Halloween. Spooky. My birthday. Hint hint. And my top 50 games of all time list. Fun. So let's get to it. I'm Rob for JestaThaRogue.com and these are my top 50 board games of all time. As always, I'll do a quick rundown of numbers 50 to 11 with a few intermissions along the way, then go into detail for my top 10. So be sure to subscribe and comment on your thoughts on this list and your favourite games that I didn't include. Off we go. Spend chips to dodge bad cards and stick someone else with a junk. At 50, the lowest on this list, where you need the lowest score, no thanks. An abstract game where every piece you place dictates your opponent's next move. Race to make lines of 3 at 49, Mine Leaf. Build your journey one card at a time, then score it backwards. Planning ahead means looking behind at 48, Far Away. Rearrange your carriages into perfect order while derailing others. All aboard at 47, Game of Trains. Slap down tiles in real time and trace lasers to see who's blasted who. Fast, furious and photon filled at 46, Lightspeed Arena. Plant vines, crush grapes and turn them into the finest victory points. Pouring in at 45, Viticulture. Workers ride literal gears, turning time into perfect actions. Ticking into 44, Zolkin the Mine Calendar. Draft oddball teams and watch them auto battle for flag control. At 43, the tournament where you barely lift a finger, Challengers. Mad science, family drama and inventions that span generations. Sci-fi sparks at 42, My Father's Work. Trigger rows and columns to grow your empire and raise wonders. Standing tall at 41, Monumental. Okay, confession time. Which game have you seen so far that you think deserves to be higher than number 41? Call me out in the comments. On with the list. Play cards to turn trash into treasure before the dump piles up. Sorting in at 40, Recycle/R-Eco. Trick taking where hidden goals decide which suits actually score. Flowing in at 39, Ebbs/Hunt. Trim your deck, buy upgrades and smack rivals down to 0 HP. Swinging swords at 38, Hero Realms. Develop techs and expand fast in this lean civilization builder. Shining at 37, Nova Era. Leap around the pond for as long as you can. Croaking in at 36, King Frog. Bluff your way up and down the food chain, eat first or go hungry. Chomping in at 35, Om Nom Nom. Program clunky robots to squash endless waves of bots. At 34, Giant Mechs, Tiny Problems, Mechs vs Minions. Race around the island, raid your rivals and hoard the most loot. Sailing smooth into 33, Jamaica. Team up superheroes in a co-op card slugfest against villains. Saving the day at 32, Sentinels of the Multiverse. Play as undead heroes, munching civilians and ex-teammates alike. Gnawing in at 31, Marvel Zombies. Okay, before we hit the top 30, a quick shout out. If you're enjoying this video, share it with your game group. Trust me, it's more fun to argue about lists when everyone's seen it. Let's get back to it. Flick wooden discs around a racetrack in pure dexterity chaos. At 30, Speed by Finger, Pitch Car. Drop sets of fantasy tribes for powers and area control. Storming in at 29, Ethnos. Knights vs Traitors in the ultimate social deduction showdown. Scheming at 28, The Resistance, Avalon. Push wooden cubes across medieval Spain for regional dominance. Standing tall in 27, El Grande. Build decks, suit up and stop villains in co-op heroics. At 46, assemble your table, Marvel Champions. Magic School worker placement where even the victory conditions are hidden. Casting in at 25, Argent the Consortium. Terraform planets, expanding across galaxies and crunch heavy Euro math. Expanding at 24, Gaia Project. Draft daily plans for the perfect vacation week, then play it out in order. Packing in at 23, Let's Go to Japan. Lay tiles, claim cities, roads and farms with meeples galore. Building in at 22, Carcassonne. A cutthroat Euro where you invest in trading companies and expand across Africa. Juggle a unique card programming system at 21, Mombasa. We're over halfway through this and there's already a pile of cubes, cards and chaos. If you're still here, you clearly love this stuff, so make sure you're subscribed for more videos like this one. Also stick around to see what cracked the top 20. Buy heroes and powers, chain combos and smash villains for the win. Flying in at 20, DC Comics deck building game. Roll the dice and build theme park rides for robots, but clean up your mess. Whirring in at 19, Steam Park. Bid for plants, buy resources and light up cities in a razor tight economy. Charging in at 18, Power Grid. Fancy races invade and then vanish when the world's too tight. Shrinking in at 17, Small World. Band together as samurai defending your village against waves of bandits. Slashing in at 16, Samurai Spirit. Lay tiles to capture influence around rice fields, temples and cities. Honouring the land at 15, Samurai. Hack as the runner, bluff as the corp, duel in cyberpunk cat and mouse. Jacking in at 14, Netrunner. Deck build to lay track and expand your railway empire. Rolling in at lucky 13, Trains. Draft tiles to balance income, reputation and growth in your own city. Growing Strong at 12, Suburbia. A classic tableau builder where you draft aristocrats, buildings and upgrades across 4 eras. Balancing income and points in Imperial Russia at 11, St. Petersburg 2nd edition. And just one last thing before the top 10, 98% of you are not subscribed. If you want to make sure you get more top 10s like this one, as well as how to play videos and other reviews, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. It's free and the best way to support the channel. Alright, we've made the top 10 and the games are so good they could make their own 8-part Netflix series. Yeah, that's right, I said 8-part. So let's start our journey.
Number 10.
The story starts in darkness, a single night where villagers whisper and wolves prowl. And trust is just another lie. It's One Night Ultimate Werewolf. This is a quiet village, except it's not quiet at all because everyone's bluffing, swapping roles and panicking through 5 minutes of chaos. Each player is a villager or a werewolf using special powers to peek, switch or confuse other players on their roll cards. At dawn you vote, catch a wolf for a villager win, or the villagers get eaten. The roles in the base game are fun, they cover all the basics, giving fun day and night actions for nearly everyone. There's also lots of expansions and adjacent add-ons. You don't need all of them, just pick the ones that you think are right for your group. It all depends how much your group play the game. The more you have, the more variety you have for future games if you're playing it all night like I used to. But otherwise, some of the roles can get so random that the game's just a bit of a mess, and I prefer to keep it nice and tight to the sort of the base roles in the base game. One Night Ultimate Supervillain does come in one box and isn't overly complicated and contains fun roles for a limited package as an option if you don't really like the werewolf lynching at night theme. Now, originally this entry was going to be One Night Ultimate Supervillain, but after looking at the roles in the base game of Werewolf compared to the base game of Villains, Werewolf, as the classic game with the better roles, takes the spot. The robber and the troublemaker that switch roles around at night, and the insomniac staying up all night be able to see some information, and the tanner is the person who's trying to get people to vote for them so they not only get lynched but they win the game by being lynched is very good. They're all very fun, very basic roles. And yes, if you are in a game group and you're playing with other people, your table can be quite noisy and quite rowdy, and at night when you need people to be quiet, the odd squeaky chair can ruin the whole thing as people reach across the table and accidentally their chair squeaks and everybody knows they were doing that action at night so they know who they were. Can ruin the game, but apart from that, it is very fun. And once everything's settled down and the villagers have stopped yelling, what do? We fall in love, of course.
Number 9.
Now we're slipping notes to royalty like medieval high schoolers. It's fast, flirty and a little bit stalkerish. It's Love Letter. You're a suitor trying to get your love letter into the princess's hands. Each turn you play one card, using powers like spying, protecting or eliminating rivals. Outlast your opponents or hold the highest value card when the deck runs out to win a token of affection. Win her favour by getting the required total over several very short games first. So yes, this is a very short rules teach, very short game rounds and a very short game time overall. You draw a card, you play one of the 2 cards in your hand face up so everybody can see it, and then you do what that card says. That's it. You can do things like look at the player's hand. Cards like the bishop will compare hands with another player and whoever has the lower card will be eliminated. You have the handmaid that you can play in front of you and protect you for a round so nobody can target you with any of the effects. Cards that you swap hands with other players. And the princess must be kept in hand. If you're forced to play or discard the princess, then you are eliminated. So having the princess in hand is dangerous because if somebody forces you to discard your hand, you will be eliminated. But when the deck runs out, whoever has the highest number card in play, which is the princess in the deck, will win the game. So you want to make sure you've got it, not too early, but towards the end. There are lots of different versions. Batman is my favourite because if Batman defeats a villain, you gain a bonus point, making the guard action from Love Letter not just about knocking a player out, but you also get another point towards winning the game, which is cool. Also a special mention to Infinity Gauntlet, which is the same base gameplay, but it is a 1 versus many game, and it's a completely different game, and it doesn't make this list, but it is a fun option. But it is the OG LL from AEG that gets my vote, the one that comes in the little bag. I don't have the little bag near me, so this is the premium edition that I like. But yeah, Love Letter, very fun game. Of course, when love fails, there's only one thing left to do. Become a pirate.
Number 8.
Sail into a pirate free-for-all where the only rule is the rules do not stop changing. Pirates, treasures and total nonsense every round. It's Pina Pirata. You're a mischievous pirate trying to empty your hand of cards. It's a matching game but with a wacky rules twist that changes every round. From pirates as wiles to treasure maps flipping everything backwards. Be the first to run out of cards and you sail closer to victory. So yes, it is just Uno but with extra steps. You match a pirate from your hand. If you can't, you draw a card. You empty your hand to win a point. But new rules are added every round, up to 6, and the game gets crazy. So each round a new rule will be added to play, which will change the value of the different pirates in play. For example, the iceberg says whenever you draw a card, you may discard a penguin from your hand. So while drawing a card is bad, it's not too bad if you've got penguins in your hand and you're kind of balancing your hand out. Stare down says whenever you play a crocodile, the next player skips their turn. That's a lot of fun, especially if you've got a handful of crocodiles and you know the person next to you isn't going to take a turn for quite some time. It's simple and fun, and obviously it's not going to be for everyone, but I really enjoy it. That is Pina Pirata. And eventually the pirates sober up. They change their rum for bricks and start building actual civilizations.
Number 7.
Here we draft our way through history, stacking points like pyramids, which, come to think of it, is literally one of the wonders in 7 Wonders. You're the leader of an ancient civilization, drafting cards over 3 ages. Build armies, markets, science, and of course a wonder while balancing resources and timing. Points come from your military might, scientific sets, civic projects, and wonder stages. The highest score becomes the greatest civilization. Cards have several types: resources, market, science, war, and guilds. And there are many ways to score and a few scoring paths to explore, so a lot of it will be dictated by your starting wonder and the abilities that gives you. And of course the cards are your first couple of hands, but you've got to decide whether you're going to focus on one strategy or whether you're going to diversify your points portfolio. On top of that, this game has many expansions. The Leaders gives you a leader which has an ability, and along with your wonder can give you a starting point from the first age and give you a plan and a strategy to follow. I always play with the Leaders. I love the Leaders expansion. Cities comes with cards that take money off people, and I don't really like it. The game is hard enough as it is, especially for new players. So while Cities does have some good cards, I tend to not play with it because it's quite mean. Now, Babel is available for the first edition of 7 Wonders only. It provides interaction around the table, so you're competing against players who sit across the table, not just your 2 neighbours, where you're building shared projects and you get points for participating. If you don't participate, you lose points. It's not great, it wasn't very popular, but it is an option there if you've got the first edition of the game. Armada comes with an extra player board with extra actions and rewards, where you're sailing the ship up this board and you're going to get different bonuses as you go, exploring different islands. I've only played it a couple of times and I enjoy it, and I play it when I can. I usually reserve it for if I'm playing with a table of people who have already played the game. And finally, Edifice, which is a streamlined version of Babel really, where you're building a shared projects. I haven't played this one yet, I haven't managed to get it played, but I will continue to try to get it played in the future. And that is one of the issues really. I've barely played 7 Wonders at all since Armada came out in 2018. I do enjoy the game and I want to play it more than I do. One of the things is though, I don't like teaching it with all the different symbols. Even in the 2nd edition, although the symbols are a bit clearer and a bit more well explained, if that's English, it is still a difficult teach. But because of that, its star is fading in my eyes, and it could be the last time that 7 Wonders appears in my top 10. But what do great civilizations really need? A good national sport, obviously.
Number 6.
Fancy football where orcs play dirty, elves dive, and goblins, well, they explode. Sky Sports could never and would never show this. It's Blood Bowl Team Manager. You're the coach of a fantasy football team competing for glory and fans. Play star players to matches, use team abilities, and brawl for ball control. Winning matchups earns fans and upgrades for your team. The manager with the most loyal fan base at the end of the game is the winner. I'll keep it short because I mention this every time I talk about the game. It is out of print, it will never come back into print, and it is very expensive on the second-hand market. So this is essentially deck building meets smash up, where your deck is your deck of players and you're playing your players to these different matchups where you're trying to win area control to get the rewards for winning. The players who you play to these matchups have different abilities themed to their race, their team, and their player role as well, which is really cool. These allow you to draw cards, steal the ball, or roll a dice to punch the opposition. Rewards are fans, which are points, team upgrades, which are abilities that are themed to the team, and new players, including big name star players that you can add to your deck. It's very fun, I enjoy it a lot, and it's the oldest non-collectible card game in my collection. But like I said, Blood Bowl Team Manager is out of print. It's part of Final Fantasy's breakup with Games Workshop. And after the sports season's end, it's time to retire and become a wizard. It's just natural career progression.
Number 5.
You're a planeswalker dueling with fireballs, giant dragons, and the odd squirrel. It's the game that eats souls and wallets, Magic the Gathering. As this planeswalker, which is a powerful mage that duels across the lands, you build a deck of creatures, spells, and lands to fuel your strategy. Reduce your opponent's life total from 20 to 0, or use alternate win conditions to claim victory. With endless cards and combos, no 2 battles are alike. And that is one of the big attractions, is collecting cards to build unique decks and testing them out against your fellow players. I'm currently in the process of building 5 commander decks from the recent Spider-Man set. Now, I don't play tournaments anymore. They're too boring, too repetitive, playing against the same people who've got the same deck off the internet. And I haven't really played for 13 years, but there've been quite a few things that's brought me back to Magic the Gathering, and the reason it's back in my top 10. Number 1 is the Universes Beyond sets, which are sets based on things like Doctor Who, Final Fantasy, and especially the Marvel. In the process of tidying up this game room, I had 2 shoeboxes full of old Magic cards that I was sorting through and to sell and give away, and I got a big nostalgia hit when I was going through those boxes. The YouTube channel Omex was unpacking cards from boosters I used to buy back in the day, and I got another nostalgia hit from having that channel served to me through the YouTube algorithm. And then channels like Card Market showing the fun side of Magic the Gathering with costumes, humour and decks built to play a good time and not a serious time. And also I found 2 local groups that play Commander on a regular basis and play it the right way, where you have fun, but you also try to win. But mostly, you have fun. Now, I never stopped enjoying Magic the Gathering, it's just the cost overall of keeping up with all the different sets. And I also played more to win than to have fun. But now I'm playing regular fun games of Magic again, it's back in the top 10. And if one powerful mage stops being enough, you need to assemble the superheroes.
Number 4.
Play cards, punch thugs, and save the city together. It's fast, flashy, and comes with more plastic than a toy aisle. It's Marvel United. Your Marvel heroes teaming up to stop a villain threatening the city. Each turn you play cards to move, fight thugs, rescue civilians, or trigger special powers. Villains act on their own deck, creating escalating threats. Complete missions and knock the villain down to 0 health to save the day. You play cards to move around the locations, to defeat thugs, rescue civilians, and perform heroic feats. Once you've completed enough of those missions, you will be able to damage the villain, and if you take the villain's health down to 0, you win the game, if you do it before they complete their evil scheme. Heroes have different decks, and they play differently for the most part, but there is a lot of overlap of just cards that just have symbols that allow them to punch and move. But there are a few cards in the deck that give them their thematic, character-driven abilities. And each villain provides a challenge that are different and thematic. For example, Juggernaut just tears around all the locations, dealing damage as they pass people. Whereas Loki is hard to attack because he protects himself with illusions. And Thanos plays out as a sort of a mini campaign against the Black Order to stop the Infinity Stone collection. So this is my favourite game to play solo because there's so much content and the games are so quick and easy, and it's a lot of fun playing against the different villains. It is also my favourite pandemic style game, those games where you have to put out fires while trying to defeat an overall threat. But having backed every Kickstarter, I do have a lot of stuff and it is overwhelming. There is so much content in this game. I have streamlined it down to just the stuff that I'll play that takes up a few slots on the Calyx shelf just over there. And I just have to accept that I won't be able to play all of it all of the time, and a lot of it I may never touch again unless it comes into the MCU. And I'm looking forward to playing DC United should that game ever deliver. But for a fun, accessible co-op game, I do really suggest Marvel United. From villages of lies to castles of love, to pirates' coves to ancient wonders. Through bloody sports, magical duels, and multi-universal superheroes. Every step of the journey has led to this point. All roads lead here.
Number 3, number 2, and now, number 1.
You stop playing the game, you become the landscape. Factions carve the world into lakes, deserts and mountains, and race to build cities and temples. It's crunchy, brain-burning and absolutely glorious. It's the holy trinity of terraforming, Terra Mystica, Terra Nova and Age of Innovation. You're a unique faction shaping the landscape to match your home terrain. Place buildings, upgrade them and develop your economy through careful resource management. Expand your network while competing for area control and cycling your power. Victory comes from efficient growth, smart upgrades, and the most points across multiple scoring avenues. So players will take turns taking one action at a time. They're either going to terraform land into their home terrain, so they can build on it. They can build buildings from their player board into those spaces. They can upgrade buildings by returning the building from the board and replacing it with a more advanced one. And a few more things. The buildings you have out on the map will determine your income, so you need to balance which ones you have out there so you've got a bit of everything, so you've got the resources you need. The factions will give you player powers every game, so every game you play could be a little bit different, and also the end of round and end of game scoring will change every time, giving you some variability with each game you play. There's also that power mechanism where you have to manage these little tokens spinning around the bowls to spend it, to take powerful actions. I like that. Now that's what these games have in common, but what do they do differently? In Terra Mystica, the factions have a different starting resources, an innate starting ability, an ability that you unlock when you build your stronghold. So each of the factions has a nice personality that you come to know and love. It's also focused around religion and cults, and there is the cult track off to the side that you move up, and there's quite a few people who don't like that. Terra Nova is more accessible. It's sort of Terra Mystica stripped down to its basics. It's got the same base gameplay, but you've only got one resource, which is money, so you don't need to worry about other resources. You still have the power bowls, of course. And there's no other cult track, you're just dealing with the main map. Age of Innovation is heavier and swaps cultists and religions for scholars and universities, and swaps the cult track for the science display. It also has books as an additional resource that you can use on the innovation track to unlock new abilities. Now you could say more is better, but what I really wanted was I wanted Terra Mystica with Gaia Project's tech track. That's what I wanted. The downside for me for Age of Innovation is that the factions and the powers are mix and match, which is great for replayability because you're going to get a different mismatch of powers every time you play, but it means that each of those factions loses their personality that I've known to love from Terra Mystica. Now all three are good. Terra Nova is good for new players, Age of Innovation probably gives you the best experience, and Terra Mystica is somewhere in the middle. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's in the new special edition. And that's a list, 50 games from abstract frogs to train rides, from secret villages to squirrel wielding wizards, ending with reshaping entire worlds. It's been a journey through hidden rolls, cubes and cards, dice, pirates and superheroes, and more cardboard than most shelves can handle. If you made it this far, you clearly enjoy the ride, but 98% of you are still not subscribed. So hit the button, join the table, and let's keep playing together. And let me know what you think of this list in the comments below. I've been Rob, aka JestaThaRogue, and I'll see you soon.